Hello, everybody, and welcome to That 70's Song Show, a tremendous production in which we share our love of music history and nostalgia with you through a music trivia show in 3 rounds, which I will explain as we go. My name is Tim, and I'm here with my bestest buddies, Mark and Jessica, who are the owners of Tremungus. Hello, Mark. Hello, Jessica. How you doing?
Hey, Tim.
You guys ready for some trivia fun today?
I think so.
Cool. Also, we've set it up so that if you're watching, you can play along. And if you are watching, first of all, thank you so very much. This is our first podcast, and we're excited to have you. If you make it through the whole show, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps us. Anything you do is very helpful to us, and we hope you enjoy the show. So, before we get on with the show, I would like to, again, I want to have Mark and Jessica talk about various things. First of all, Mark, can you tell our audience what Tremungus is and what we're all about?
So, Tremungus is an audio-video production company based in Middletown, Delaware, with my lovely partner in crime and all things, Jessica. We are a full-service production company, and what that means is we have a full recording studio, so we can record an artist's song, album, from start to finish, mixing, mastering, overdubs. You want to play an electric kalimba, we've got that. That's Tremungus.
All right,
Sorry
thank you.
My long-winded answer. Episode 3, as I'm still explaining.
Very thorough explanation. I think we do a lot of stuff. What can I say? Your turn, Jessica. If you wouldn't mind explaining to the audience, what is the inspiration for today's show? What's the purpose of our little game here?
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. So I hope that the audience members can relate to the experience of being transported to your past by some song or music that you hear that you have memories built around. So I thought this would be a great way for us as friends to come together and explore each of our own nostalgic memories. And I hope everyone either hears new music that they like or get taken down memory lane in a great way. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and if you weren't around in the 70s, because I'll be honest, 1970 I wasn't even alive for, I hope maybe you'll hear about some music that you've never heard before and go seeking out. And if you're around the same age as us, you'll go down memory lane with us, just like Jessica said.
Round 1, Top 10, Points Explainer. Each contestant picks 10 songs from an alphabetized list of the top 50 songs for that year and ranks them from 1 to 10 as their guest placement. The contestants' song picks are then compared to the actual ranking of the top 50 songs for that year. The relative placement of each song is determined based on its ranking in the top 50 songs for that year. If the guest placement of the song is the same as its relative placement, then the contestant gets 1 point, and half a point if it's off by 1. Any song picked that also ranked in the top 10 of the top 50 songs for that year earns a bonus point. Each song that doesn't get points awarded to the contestants earns the host a half point each.
I was very interested to see that you chose 6 of the same songs out of the 50 popular choices, So I'm going to go through those songs first. And once again, the object of the game is to put the songs in the correct order. So your points are based on where it is in those 10, not the actual correct position. So first song I'm going to start with is Stevie Wonder's Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours. It was actually number 31 at the end of the year, which I know, again, it doesn't seem fair that he's that low on the chart, but it's a testament. If you make the top 50 at the end of the year, that's pretty damn good. So, all right, so like I said, Mark, you put yours at number 10.
Right.
Jessica, you put yours at number 7, but on both your lists, it would be number 8. So that means, Mark, no point for you. Jessica, you get a half a point for being off by 1. All right. So, moving along, ready for the next song?
Sure.
Okay, again, one of the songs that you both chose was All Right Now by Free. Mark, you put that song at number 7. And Jessica, you put that one at 8. Now, you know by now, because of Stevie Wonder, that's going to be off. But you basically flip-flopped them. So you also get a half a point for Free, because if you just switch those two, you'd have a full point for each. The song actually was number 27 for the year.
Wow.
And Mark, because you put it at number 7, you actually got it correct. So you get 1 full point for putting All Right Now in the right order. All right, so the next song that you both chose was the Beatles' Let It Be. All right, this song, let's see. Mark, you put this at number 4, and Jessica, you put this at number 1, which I might have done myself had I not known better. The song was actually number 9. Right? Had I known, what's that?
I said, ouch.
What does that mean? Had I known better? Yeah, I would have put that at number 1.
Had I not known better, I would have done the same thing, but I knew better.
Well, hey, I'm just being fair. I do have the information beforehand. But no, Let It Be actually was number 9 for the year, which again, that's lower than either of you picked. And I was like, that seems, I would have guessed that was much higher. So, let's see here. Mark, let's see, you put it at number 4, but unfortunately it is number 6 out of your 10 songs. Jess, you put it number 1, but it would be number 4 on your list. So unfortunately, no points for either. All right, so the score still stands. Moving on to the next song. I mean, any comments so far? Anything you want to?
I would like to just interject that.
Yes.
I think in doing these, the most pressure was that number 1 slot because.
Oh, sure.
Because then it's like, oh, everyone now knows the song I think was number 1, which I'm probably going to get wrong, but it's, so I was like, let it be I wanted it to be 1, so that was part of the reason I picked that one.
I gotcha. And there's as I go on, you'll see an interesting tidbit about Mark's list, which you'll kind of match that together. And honestly, I think most people would not be able to correctly identify the number 1 song of the whole year. They could recognize maybe a number 1 song, but not for the whole year. That's a tough thing. So the next song on our list is the Jackson 5's "I'll Be There." Okay, which you both chose, obviously. Mark, you put that song at number 5 out of the 10 songs you chose.
Okay.
Jessica, you put that song at number 10. Okay. Now, just to remind you that you don't have to. It doesn't have to be number 5 for you to get points. What matters is the 10 songs that you chose are in the correct order as they appear on the Billboard chart, regardless of their position. So what you're looking for is to make sure your 10 songs are in the correct order. You don't have to get the number right. But you did put it in 5th place, and out of the 10 songs you chose, it would be number 5. So you get a full point for that. Okay? Jessica, you put it at number 10 on your list, but if I put your songs in the correct order, it would actually be number 3. So you're kind of way off on that one. Unfortunately, no point. The song was number 7 for the year.
Wow.
But again,
okay.
that doesn't matter at the moment. But
It's close.
Yeah, definitely was. The next one is Diana Ross's "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." Very big, popular song. I could totally understand why you both picked that. The interesting thing here is that Mark, you put this 2nd on your list. Okay, and Jessica, you put it 4th. And ironically, if you had both done it the opposite, you would have each gotten a full point. Because Mark, on your list, it would actually finish in 4th place, and Jessica's in yours, it would finish in 2nd. So that's one of those interesting things that when I'm looking at, I'm like,
In other words, bupkiss.
Bupkiss. No points for either of you on that one, unfortunately. The song was number 6 for the end of the year. So again, good choice. And the final of those 6 songs that you both chose was the Guess Who's American Woman. All right. Mark, you put that song at number 8 on your list. And Jessica, you put it at number 9. Very close. Unfortunately, you're both way off. It finished at number 3 for the year, but according to Mark's top 10, out of the 10 songs you chose, it would be 2nd. So not even close. And Jessica, it actually shows up at the top of your list. That was the highest song on your list, according to Billboard. So again, no points for either of you. All right, so that clears the 6 songs that you both chose, which means you chose 4 songs independently of each other, and we'll go through those now. Any questions, comments?
No.
All right, cool. So, Mark, I'll start with you. At the bottom of your list, at the top of your list, you chose the Beatles, "The Long and Winding Road." Now, remember, Jessica, earlier you were talking about "Let It Be" and how you were sure it was a number 1 song. Mark put that song at number 1, but it actually finishes 10th on your list. Of all the songs you chose, I tell you, that would be number 10. So total flip on that one. And we got 2 different Beatles songs, that both made the chart at the same time here. That song finished number 41 for the year.
Wow.
Which is, yes, I'm kind of surprised by that. So moving along, one of the songs from Jessica's list, I have "Cecilia" by Simon and Garfunkel. Jessica, you put that at number 3 on your list, but it would technically be number 10. So So again, no point for that. And the song was actually number 49 out of 50, out of the top 50 songs. I know, right? So again, still a good accomplishment here. All right, jumping back over to Mark's list, you've got Creedence Clearwater Revival, Looking Out My Back Door, which you put at number 6, but the correct answer would be 9. So again, no points for that one. This song was number 36 for the end of the year. Creedence was hugely popular during this time. Their songs raced up the chart. All right, back to Jessica's list. We've got Shocking Blues Venus, which is one of my favorites. You put that at number 5. Unfortunately, in the correct order, Venus would be number 9. So again, no points. Venus was number 33 for the year-end chart. All right, got 2 more songs each that I'm going to go through. Mark, you've got Edwin Starr's War, which you put at number 3, and ding, that is the correct position. So you get 1 full point for Edwin Starr's War, which was the number 5 song in 1970. Okay. Back to Jessica, you've got Norman Greenbaum's Spirit in the Sky, which you put at number 2. But let's see, unfortunately, that song would be number 6 on your list in the correct order. So again, no point. Not doing too well with the full points right now, Jess. That song finished at number 22 for the end of the year. So we're getting close to here. So 1 more song each. Mark, you chose Simon & Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. Now the irony here is that you put Long and Winding Road at number 1, and it finished 10th in your list. You put Bridge Over Troubled Water at number 9, and it actually would have been the top song on your list. So I know, shameful. No points for that one, and it was in fact the number 1 song of 1970. And finally, Jessica, on your list, you chose the 5 Stairsteps' Ooh Child. You put the song at number 6, but according to the 10 songs you chose, it would be in 5th place, so you're only off by 1. That gives you a half a point. All right, and that song is number 21 for the year. So as it stands right now, Mark, you've got 3 full points. Jess has 3 half points, which gives you a total of 1.5 at the moment. However, I have bonus points. Because, Mark, you correctly chose 6 of the top 10 songs for the year, so you get 6 bonus points. That gives you a total of 9. Jessica, you correctly chose 4 of the top 10 songs of the year, so that gives you a total of 5.5. 5.5, all right? All right, so that's, also the songs that you did not get in the correct or at least off by 1 position, there would be 7 songs for each of you. So for each song, I get a half a point. That means I will get 3.5 points from Mark and 3.5 points from Jessica. So my score at the moment is 7. So we got Mark at 9, myself at 7, Jessica 5.5. So there's still room, there's wiggle room to get some more points in the next round, which we'll get to. I will read you the top 10 songs, and you can see if you chose any of the correct ones. Some you already know about, but let's give them a quick rundown here. Number 10, neither of you chose, was Frida Payne's Band of Gold. Remember that song?
No.
No, you don't? Well, we will.
By name, I probably don't.
All right, you probably, I'm sure you've heard it before. Maybe we'll have to add that to our Spotify list. Stay tuned for Spotify information. Number 9, as I said before, the Beatles' Let It Be.
Okay.
Number 8 is another one neither of you chose, Rare Earth's Get Ready. Remember Get Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Very, very, very popular song, obviously, at the time. Number 7 was the Jackson 5's I'll Be There. Number 6 was Diana Ross's Ain't No Mountain High Enough. At 5, we've got War by Edwin Starr. Number 4, a song I'm surprised neither of you picked because I would have picked this one. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by B.J. Thomas.
Wow.
Yes, that song was number 1 for a little while, I think, there. Number 3 was American Woman by the Guess Who. Number 2, another song I'm shocked that neither of you picked because they were hugely popular in the time, The Carpenters. And they had a song called They Long to Be Close to You. And finally, the number 1 song, as I've already stated, was Simon & Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. So there you have your top 10. Folks at home, let us know how you did if you're interested. And again, if you're enjoying the show and you want to stick around, please hit like, subscribe, leave some comments. We'd really love to hear from you. So for round 2, we have a multiple choice series of trivia questions. We're going to ask each other 3 questions each. The points are very simple. For every correct answer any of us get, we'll get 1 point. And for every incorrect answer, the person who's reading the question will get half a point. So let's say, for example, Jessica is reading and Mark and I are answering, and if we both get it right, no points for Jessica. If one of us gets it right, half a point for Jessica, and if we both get it wrong, that's 2 points for that's 1 whole point. 1 whole point for Jessica. Yes, 1 whole point if we both get it wrong. So, okay, so my first question, this one is based on the song Lola by the Kinks. You all remember Lola, I hope?
Yeah.
All right. So in 1970, the Kinks had an international top 10 hit with Lola. According to the song's opening lines, where did the singer meet Lola? Here are your choices. A, on a beach in hot Rio. B, at a bar in Chicago. C, in a club in Old Soho. And D, at a pub in Kokomo. Present your answers. Let's see. Jessica says B. Mark says C. The correct answer is C, in a club in Old Soho. So that's 1 point for Mark and a half a point for myself. In 1970, the band Free reached the top 5 in the Billboard charts with their rocker All Right Now. Which member of the band sang lead vocals? This singer would later front the supergroup Bad Company. The choices again are A. Paul Kossoff, B. Andy Fraser, C. Paul Rogers, or D. Simon Kirk. You ready?
Yep.
All right, present your answers. Jessica says C. Mark says C. You are both correct. The answer is Paul Rogers. All right, so that's 1 full point for Mark, 1 full point for Jessica. The group Blues Image scored a top 10 U.S. hit with the song Ride Captain Ride. Remember that song? Okay. According to the song's opening lyrics, how many men sailed up from the San Francisco Bay? Wouldn't expect on that, right? All right, your choices are A, 73, B, 103, C, 203, or D, 79. You ready? No, you look very confident. Jessica says B, Mark says D. The correct answer is A, 73. Yep, 73 been sailing on the San Francisco Bay. I sound just like him, don't I? All right, so that means no points for either of you on that one, and I get a half a point from each of you, which gives me a full point. So as it stands, Mark, you are at 11 points. Jessica, you are at 6.5, and I am at 8.5. So I guess Jessica's going to read her questions now. You ready, Jessica?
All right, 1970, from the year when the Apollo 13 mission to moon accident happened and a gallon of gas cost 36 cents.
Damn.
What really popular band broke up in 1970? Was it A, the Everly Brothers, B, the Beatles, C, the Sex Pistols, or D, Simon and Garfunkel?
I think I know.
What say y'all? Okay, Mark says B, Tim says D. You're both correct.
Okay. Cool.
Wow.
They officially broke up in April of 1970 when Paul McCartney publicly stated that he is leaving the band. Let It Be is released as their final album a month later. Simon and Garfunkel had a troubled relationship, leading to artistic disagreements and their breakup in 1970.
Okay.
That's said on Eurovision, Simone and Garfunkel.
I was going to do that. Their final studio album, Bridge Over Troubled Water, was released that January, becoming one of the world's best-selling albums. Hopefully we can clean that all up in post.
So
I keep going.
now, unfortunately, because we both got this correct, we each get a point,
Yeah.
which means you don't get any kickback points, unfortunately. But
That's okay.
that was clever. You caught me off guard, you know.
Yeah, I meant to ask that one last, but... oh.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
All right, next question. The largest ever rock festival happened in 1970. Which one was it?
Okay.
Was it A, Woodstock, B, Monterey Pop, C, Isle of Wight, or D, Glastonbury?
Oof. Okay.
All right. Tim says B, Mark says C, and the correct answer is C.
Oh, damn.
The Isle of Wight had 600,000 people attending, including some of the biggest names in music, including Jimi Hendrix and The Who. The festival was by far the biggest, which according to some estimates approached 700,000 people in attendance, 200,000 more than Woodstock.
Wow. Okay. Damn, I suck at this.
All right.
Do better, Tim.
This last one is probably a chance for you to come back, Tim, hopefully.
Okay.
So this last question, who broke previous attendance records at the Houston Astrodome in 1970? Was it A, Elvis Presley, B, Allman Brothers Band, C, Led Zeppelin, or D, Elton John?
Oof. That's tough. Okay.
All right. Mark says D, Tim says A, and Tim gets the point.
Yeah. All right.
Elvis Presley performed at the Houston Astrodome. The King of Rock and Roll broke previous attendance records with a crowd of 36,299, which was 10,000 more than the previous record.
All right. Cool. I figured you can't lose with Elvis. All right. So I'll just let you know where we are now in the points. Mark, you are in the lead with 13 points. Jessica, unfortunately, you're trailing at 8. But you still have time to catch up because there'll be another round. And I'm at 10.5. Woo, go me. Nice in the middle there. All right, so Mark, now you have 70s related questions for us, correct?
Yeah, I have a nice bonus round true or false question that if, since we're just kind of picking points, 3 points if you get it right.
Oh, okay.
And I get... chocolate banana.
Is that all you really want?
No, I don't eat bananas anymore. 3 points if you get it right. I guess is it worth half of that? 1.5 points?
I would give you a little more. Yeah, I'd say 1.5. Half of the 3 points for you.
If you get it wrong. Okay. True or false? In 1970 was the first transatlantic flight with a Boeing 747. True or false?
I don't remember specifically, but okay. I'm gonna go with false. Okay.
It is true.
Of course it is.
So the first transatlantic flight with a Boeing 747 was with Pan Am from New York to London.
Okay. I figured there were so many years it could have been that might have been too.
So Jess gets 3 points.
Jess gets 3 points.
And
you get 1.5. All right.
So that puts me at...
That puts you at 14.5. And now, Jessica, you moved up to second with 11, and I'm trailing right behind you with 10.5 points. And that's your big that's your bonus point question?
Sure.
All right, so that ends... Obviously.
The more you know.
That ends round 2, our multiple choice challenge. Again, if you're playing, I hope you did well, and let us know how you did. Now we're going to move on to, I think, what is our favorite round and kind of the apex of the show here. We call this our nostalgia round, and this is the round in which we each pick a song from 1970 and how it has affected us in our lives today. Because obviously we weren't alive when these songs were popular, but at some point in our lives, these songs meant something to us for some reason or another. And so how this round works is that we are each allotted 5 points to give to the other 2. We can split them up. We can give one person all the points if we want to, based on the story they tell, or at least the impact of the story. Because I'll be honest, my story isn't the strongest, but it might move you in some way. I don't know. And at the end of that, once we have all our points totaled, we will determine who the big winner is, and I'll tell you what the secret prize is at the end of that. There, it's something everybody wants. All right, so does everyone has their nostalgia songs? We're ready to go.
It's in my brain place.
All right, all right. Mark, why don't you go first? Let's hear your song and your story. Tell it, brother.
All right. Let me take you back to a place in time when I had hair. It was in the mid-90s. I was already familiar very much with the supergroup that this singer fronted that you mentioned in your trivia questions. That was a no-brainer. So Paul Rodgers, who went on to front Bad Company, which is how I first heard Paul Rodgers, and that music was, I got really good into Bad Company at one point. But the song I chose was "All Right Now"
Okay.
by Free.
Okay.
This was in the mid '90s when I really got into Free through my bandmate and singer at the time, Al. We were in a band together called Values of the Tongue, which we were doing like 70s psychedelic, arena rock type of songs.
That,
and so, I was just consuming as much music from that era as I could, and that was one of those songs that just, being that I was already attached to Paul Rodgers' voice through Bad Company, and then Free was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Like it was good, and that's just a solid record. Not just that single, but that record all around is a solid record. So, as soon as I saw that song on the list, it was like, I started thinking about the memories of hanging out in Al's apartment, either before or after band practice. And, we lived and breathed that band. I've got a very large milk crate full of cassette tapes that are just 4-track recordings from just that band alone, because we just, like, everything we did was that band. We spent holidays rehearsing, and, so that song is just, it just takes me back to that time and place when, 2 or 3 nights a week, we were hanging out, making music, and just having a good time.
All right. That is Mark's story about All Right Now and Bad Company. So were you like the Bad Company cover band at any time there?
No. Although I could play Mean Feel Like Making Love, but that's...
All right, very cool.
No.
So Jessica, now on to you. Why don't you tell us your story and your song?
Okay, I chose Let It Be by the Beatles.
Good song.
It's the same one I picked number 1, which was not right, but unfortunately there's not a specific memory. It's more of a just whenever I heard it in the beginning, like when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is a nice song, but then when you listen to the words, you're like, oh, it just, like, yes, you agree with it with every fiber of your being, and it really just speaks for you and the way you think about things. So that would be the song I think I have the most connection to in this list.
Okay, do you remember any particular time in your life where the meaning of the lyrics were strong? Because we all go through that at one point where we tell ourselves, just let it be. So is there any time that, though, not the song necessarily, but the message influenced you anywhere in your life?
Oh,
probably a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, where doesn't it? One of my fondest things when I was younger was going to every summer for a period I went to a Girl Scout camp, and it was a resident camp. Mm-hmm. So I'd spend anywhere from like 1 to 8 weeks in the woods, and from insects and other animals, when you're out there in the wilderness, but also other people. And if you see or hear or whatever, there's someone who's doing or saying something that you don't agree with, let them be. Like, they're their own person. I'm my own person. I don't want someone telling me that I can't think or feel or say what I want to think, feel, or say. So just in general, it's a good message.
All right, very cool. All right. So before I get into my story, I just want to remind all of you out there, if you're listening, if you like what we're doing here, please hit the like button, comment, or subscribe. Also, in our nostalgia round, if you want to tell us one of your stories, if you've got a song from 1970 that reminds you of some time in your life, whether you were alive then or not, let us know. We're definitely interested in hearing it. All right, so moving on to my song. The song I chose was The Carpenters' They Long to Be Close to You, for the very simple reason that it was my parents' wedding song. So the irony being that, they didn't stay married for very long, but it's when I hear the song, I think about couples in general when they're younger, the first time they realize that they're in love. And I think The Simpsons used that song in their first episode, in which they go back to their past. And so every time I see that episode, I think of those two things simultaneously. Just like, look at this new teenage couple falling in love. And, I look at the picture of my parents when they were like 19 and 18. They were like, just young, pretty people. And I'm just like, oh, it's like, it can be depressing if you think too much about the fact that they didn't last together. But again, it's not specifically about them. I'm willing to bet a lot of couples use that song, and hopefully a lot of the people who had that as their wedding song are still together today. So that's basically the influences that the song had for me, is young new love, and what it might blossom into, and that is my lame nostalgia story. So, all right. So now that we've got all of our stories out of the way here, once again, we each get 5 points to give to the other 2 players. You can split them up. You can give them all to one person and none to the other, however you want to do that. And then we'll add those to the existing scores, and we'll see what happens. So, Mark, why don't you start? Tell us what you think about our stories and who gets the points.
Well, it's interesting is even though we picked different songs as our quote-unquote nostalgia song for this episode, but I have memories for each of your songs. Like,
okay.
There's, they're different and unique. So for like Let It Be, it goes back to, again, the time in the 90s when I was with this band with Al, and we, I think Al was, he was very diverse when he listened to, and still what he listens to, but I think he was on a big Beatles kick, and so that was probably when I got a good purview, of the later Beatles material, not the stuff that was like the early, bubblegum pop type stuff when they had their bowl cuts. But like the stuff later on, and Let It Be was one of those records. So yeah, so I have, again, fond memories. That's a solid record, again, from start to finish behind this song. And then of course the Carpenters tune for me, what comes to mind is there was that horror movie with John Cusack, Apartment
1408,
where that song is like a main song.
I forgot
that
about
they
that.
keep using, and it warps and goes. It's like they use it in a very creepy way, and so of course every time I hear the song, that's what I think of. It's like
childhood ruining stuff, right?
Yeah. Good movie, by the way. But
all right.
So that's that. So, long story short, my points. I'm gonna give 3 points to Jess.
Okay.
Because of the power behind Let It Be and how it's impacted her and the truth in that. And then I'm going to give you 2 points to you, Tim, for yours, because I can relate to the Parent Wedding song. So,
gotcha.
Good stuff.
All right. Cool. All right.
That's my points.
Okay. So, Jessica, moving on to you. Tell us who gets the points.
Kind of similar. I really wanted to give Mark 3 points for just the impact that song had, and knowing he's a musician and the impact there. So giving him more of those points, and also just to acknowledge, it's like, forget about just knowing the songs. He knows the whole albums that the song was on, right? Which is more than I could say. So I wanted to give him a little nudge for that. And, Tim, 2 points for you, because again, it is something that is special to so many people, and the fact that it's, special to you and that it connects so many of us, I think that's special.
All right.
That's my duty.
Very, very cool. All right, my turn, and I gotta tell you, this was tough for me. Part of me wants to go, can I give you 2.5 points each? Is that possible?
Yeah, sure, it's your point.
Well, see, here's my reason. Mark, your story. See, I was there when Values of the Tongue were together, and I was a huge fan of Values of the Tongue. So I remember that time. I remember being one of those people who hung out while the band was there. Everybody was always at the house just hanging out. So for me, it is kind of nostalgic. What's the word? It is kind of nostalgic because I have my own version of that memory of the time that you're actually talking about. However, Jessica, the influence that you got from Let It Be, especially knowing how you are about animals, insects specifically, because a lot of people are terrified of insects, you let them be. And I see that in your character all the time. So I like the idea that, that song could transcend more than just between people. You could let a lot of things be, and I like that influence there. So yeah, I'm going to give you each 2.5 points for that, because I think they're both great stories.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So let me add that to the scores here, and that means that I have official final scores here. And you ready? Ready for the results of the show overall? If everyone's paying attention, they will probably, maybe they're keeping score as well. Mark, you are the winner of today's podcast with 20 points.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
Jessica, you came in second with 16.5. Very good for you.
Wow.
I came in last with 14.5, but that's okay. I get to host the show, so that's a prize for me. And Mark, for winning the game, your prize is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you have to make for yourself. Substitutions are allowed. If you don't feel like having peanut butter, so
all right. Thank you. I'll take the peanut butter and jelly, and I will eat it proudly.
And you have to eat it in front of us, so we have to watch. We don't get any. We have to watch him eat his peanut butter and jelly. That's the real prize.
That'll be in the bonus material for the episode.
So before we go, first of all, thank you all of you who did stick around and watch us. I hope you enjoyed yourself. We have a little disclaimer about, Mark, would you like to tell us about the Spotify playlist and Apple Music?
Sure. So, we all picked our favorite songs from the top 50 list for 1970. We created a playlist because it's actually, music is such an important part of all of our lives. And it's really, it's not to use a cliche, but a lot of times it's the soundtrack of what's going on in our lives. And again, so this is our thing. Saturday nights when we're together, we're riffing on ideas for Trimungus. We've got music playing in the background, and we build playlists. We've got playlists now for special events, Jess's birthday, and we've got a New Year's Eve playlist. We've got multiple volumes of our Saturday night playlist where we're dancing around the kitchen. So we basically picked our favorite songs, and we're sharing them in a way that you all can enjoy them too. So in the description in the video, you'll see a link either to an Apple Music playlist or a Spotify playlist, depending on what your particular fancy is. And that will include all of our songs, and you can listen and enjoy them, and hopefully find some new songs that maybe you didn't know very well before, and hopefully you hear some old favorites like, I didn't even know that song was Diana Ross, or I didn't know that song was the Jackson
That's
5.
always fun for me.
So, good stuff. And of course, hopefully if you like what you're seeing and hearing from us, please subscribe, and share your comments. Tell us your nostalgia picks. Tell us your story. Tell us how you did if you played along and got your points. We want to know. And next up is 1971.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed yourself, we really hope you'll come back for the next episode, which will cover, as Mark said, 1971, the year I was born. I just gave my age away. That's okay. So on that note, on behalf of Mark and Jessica, I am Tim for Trimungus. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you in our next podcast.
Thank you. Stick around.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Had fun. Tim out.
Freeze frame.
You gonna eat that?
Yeah. Damn. You know the rules. You're supposed to watch me eat it.
I hate this stupid show.